and ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa. Orúkọ mi ni. Hi, this is OffAir with Gbemi and Toolz.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give different languages to our non-Yoruba viewers as well.
Yeah, but
welcome.
at least have the right accent for Yoruba.
Orúkọ mi ni.
You sound, you know what?
Whatever,
mind.
it is Yoruba still, right? Anyways, welcome to the show.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And very important, have you subscribed? 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 Make sure you subscribe.
Every episode, we see more views than subscribers. What's the problem, really? Why do I have to keep asking you every time, what's the problem?
So kind of, if it feels like, you know, the people that they don't follow you, but they know everything that's going on your page. Why?
Are you a monitoring
do you
spirit?
understand? Don't be a monitoring spirit. Seriously.
Shout out to Eva After Dark for sending us this big box of plantain,
Sweet potato,
turkey, sweet potato,
jollof rice.
firewood jollof. And then these guys are looking at us like...
And guys, I need to show you how big these turkey wings are, okay? They're big.
Not the one that you have touched,
Juicy.
too.
They're
Not
big.
the one that you have touched.
They're juicy.
Look.
Your hand clean.
Accent guy, you like
Look how big this is.
That's what she said.
Can you fit it in your mouth? Can
Every
you fit it in your
season,
mouth?
you either try to choke me or try to feed me something. Do you like me? What's wrong with you?
We've got some sweet potato fries. Are these fries?
Plantain, turkey, smoked jollof rice. Don't forget that they deliver 24 hours in Lagos and Abuja. And they also deliver to the mainland. It starts from 1-5. They have so many things. They have platters if you have like a group of people. They have individual meals, Oyinbo food, Nigerian food, whatever it is that you like.
Yep.
After Dark.
Yeah, make sure you check them out on Instagram. They've got lots of amazing and yummy things. And watch me eat this sweet potato. First off, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. A moment of silence, please.
I have to say this. I am sorry.
A moment of silence.
I'm not being silent. Why are we giving a moment of silence to somebody that was a vile human being? I'm not celebrating that he's gone, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like, oh, wow. Ooh.
A very, you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead.
But he spoke ill every day of his life.
Very toxic. And I feel that a lot of the guys that follow him that felt like he was preaching the gospel, they need therapy.
I absolutely
have
think
problems.
so. I absolutely think so because he not only insulted women daily, he also insulted men that didn't have money. If you are a man that would call into his show, which I don't know why you were doing that in the first place, and then maybe you have some relationship issue.
I don't know
or
why
whatever.
the women were calling into his show.
Yeah, they were calling in, and then they will now say, "Oh, rate me." He will now be dissecting. I was just like, it's not as if you were that fine in the first place. But anyway, he told men literally that their worth was, basically the size of their wallets. He told women, "Oh, if you're over a certain size, you shouldn't put your shoulder up. Oh, if you're over
what did he say about leftover women?
He said, oh, if you're over 27 and you're single, that you're a leftover woman. Well, sir, apparently, allegedly, he died in a 1-bedroom sublet, by the way, with less than $1,000 to his name, allegedly. And this is somebody who was advising people on their lives and their wallets. You see, this is why you should not believe everything on social media.
No, don't believe all the motivational speakers. What did he say about nurses?
I didn't even hear that one.
So he said something about nurses. I think it was along the same line. I really tried to avoid him because anytime he spoke, I got very angry.
Yeah.
So all those like American blogs or whatever that I follow that would post him, I just literally would skip because I'm like, I don't want to hear the rubbish this guy has to say. May he rest in peace. But I know he said something about nurses, and then the lady that he apparently died with was a nurse.
Oh, what did he say about nurses?
I think he was along the lines of leftover, like, there's some women that you should avoid dating or something. Oh. And he mentioned nurses, and I just find it fascinating. After the news broke that he died, I was now like, paying a bit more attention and everything. And somebody actually said that in one of his first posts, one of his first videos, he actually said that he was going to talk more about women because that would get more attention, that would get more views and everything. So I think it was a strategy. And unfortunately, when people do this, when they use this kind of strategy where they just say very, very controversial things just to get, likes, just to get views, you have some people, some feeble-minded people that believe you. They will actually say, oh, you're doing this, oh, you're a leftover woman and everything, and they believe the rubbish that you're putting out there. So I think this is a clear lesson on, if you have a platform, be very careful how you use it.
Apparently, he described himself as a high-value man and said that women would need to meet a high bar in order to get a man in his category. There was so much stuff that he honestly said and spewed, and that it's funny to find out that he is totally the opposite of how he portrayed himself, like in real life. He did. You know what? Let's just. She shouldn't
Speaking of the dead.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's.
At least say rest in peace. Rest in peace. All right then. So
I really don't care.
So are you running for office? Everybody, you know what?
It's as if 100 million is just floating everywhere.
I used 100 million, like about 200. Isn't about $200,000.
I'm trying to think that it's a way to kind of get money to a particular. I don't know.
I heard, but okay. So somebody had tried to say to me that if you get the form, you pay 100 million and everything. Hopefully you do well. At some point, they might pay you to step down, and they might pay you like up to 500 million. But I'm like, yeah, that's if it's like maybe 2 or 3 people. This one you have like 15 pastors, politicians, everybody.
But a lot of these people are going to get appointments as your ministers, as your this or that. A lot of these people are going to get sorted. I saw a tweet yesterday that said, what's there? Drop 100 million and get paid like $1 billion to step down.
What if they now don't pay you the $1 billion? What if you now failed? You fell flat on your ass and you didn't do well?
Even though, then you will now have presidential aspirants at behind your name. Can you? Did you aspire to even be class captain?
I actually was. I was prefect at my school.
Prefect of what?
So I think that's enough. I mean, me being prefect.
I was prefect.
I was a prefect.
Of what?
Sorry. I was a school prefect. I think.
Of what?
Should I make you laugh? I think it was attendance. And I was like, look how I turned out. But what else was I looking after?
Prefect.
I was, and I took it very, I had a badge and everything. And I was like, this is like my secondary school in London. And I literally was,
They have prefects in London?
Yeah. I had like my badge, everything. I took it seriously. Anyways, good times. But what?
You get to wear a different color jumper.
Oh, they didn't do that in my school. I just wore a regular jumper, but I had a badge.
So why did they give you?
I didn't aspire.
But what is crazy is like I don't even know how many candidates in total. I've stopped counting, but I think we need to check how qualified all of these candidates are. There's somebody else, the way we saw his poster, who's running for office, and I'm like, why, motherfucker, why? Every person in Nigeria seems to be running for president. And my big question is, how many of these people are qualified?
The one that is there now, is it qualified?
How many of these people can spell qualified?
Very good number.
How many of them can spell qualified?
Is it true that they asked him what to think about 2023 and he's like, it's not my business?
Yep.
You're president.
If I being wow.
Do you know what? I think about what is going to happen with this country, and I think about all the aspirants that, garbage guy, what's his name? Adamu Garbage. Him, like the fact that
at the center of Nigeria.
Seriously, the fact that that somebody hasn't stoned him, and the fact that he feels that he can actually stand up there and say, oh, he wants to be, president again. I'm just shocked, and I'm speechless. I look at it and I'm speechless.
It shows the level of unseriousness and how not organized the electoral process is in this country. You see, it's supposed to be 2023, right? Yeah. It's supposed to be early 2023. It's usually February, right? And this is already May. Yep. By now, we should know the main runners. Exactly. Yeah. By now, they should be having like the first set of what's it called, debates and stuff. By now they should be going around we should know the front runners, not the geezers that want to come and just
there's some people that are using this as like a business plan, a business strategy, to like cash out. But you know what, we would be more than happy to have these aspirants come on and basically talk about what their plan is.
You know what, no, which camera am I looking at? come to Off Air. We have a lot of questions for you. If you know that you are serious about running for president, governor, even local government chairman, it's okay.
Yeah.
Please come. I'm not even trying to be funny, but if you're really genuine and you are true, and if you can't speak English, it's okay. Pidgin is fine. Yeah. It's okay. Yoruba is all right.
Yoruba is fine as well.
It's okay.
But I think it's time that we actually look at these people seriously. I think it feels like there's some people that are doing it just for bants.
Of course.
And it's sad because we are at a very, very critical point in this country where the next president literally will decide if this country completely just sinks and burns, or if we have a chance, to do better. I mean, if you look at just the countries around us, if you look at all that Ghana has achieved in the last few years, it's embarrassing. For the longest time, we were the the giant of Africa, rather, and really, we have not lived. We haven't lived up to that. Look at how many companies. Do you know how many companies have literally bypassed Nigeria to go set up in Ghana because it's easier? There's electricity, all of these things. It's embarrassing, and this means that a lot of our young people are being denied very, very important opportunities. That Twitter one still pain me to this very day, because in my mind I was like, my guy Jack, me and him will go and we'll go and chill and everything. Jack is probably never going to come to Nigeria ever again. And that's horrible.
What did you say? Elon Musk?
Oh, hi, Jack. Elon Musk. No, I don't like that. I don't like Elon Musk.
Right.
All right. So we have a special guest that we're going to be talking to in just a few moments. She is a child and adolescent counsellor. Over the last, should I say, few months, an ongoing conversation, I should say, has always been about, how to raise children, what role schools play and what role parents play. And we're going to be talking to her in a few moments.
Our fantastic guest on this episode is Oluwaseun Oshikoya. She is a child and adolescent. I was going to say psychologist, but no, she corrected me and she said counselor. Welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming today. So we have a lot of questions. Obviously, both of us being moms, and then in the last sort of few weeks, a lot of people have been talking about raising children, also getting the environment right. First off, because I think, did we mention it at all? The Chrisland school situation where this young girl, there was a clip of her in a sexual situation. And initially, somebody had said that she was being raped. And then, later on, we found out that it wasn't like that. They were playing truth or dare. And, she went on to do, certain things. Now, I believe that she also is a victim because she is, she's doing a lot of things that, children her age were not used to them doing. And you then wonder how she was exposed to all of that. So what were your thoughts on that? When you first heard about the clip, I haven't seen the video, but when you first heard about the clip, what were your thoughts, and what action should the parents be taking?
Well, thank you very much. So when I first saw the clips, a bit of it, I just couldn't end it. And I was like, wow. Well, so I wasn't surprised, I will say that, because what our children are doing nowadays is alarming. As you had introduced me, I'm a child counsellor, and I've seen quite a number of children. I've counselled quite a number of children in private and public schools, right? So I know what they are into. And I'll tell you that when I started counseling, my focus was on children. And then I realized that, wow, I needed to get parents involved, because it's like when you go to the doctor and you don't treat the root cause, right? So I knew I just couldn't be counseling children alone. A lot of the problems children were having was as a result of problems from home, or, the situation could have been resolved at home. The problem had to be attended to, right, at home. When the thing first started, everybody was saying, oh, the school was responsible, parents were responsible, the society is responsible, government, everybody's responsible. But guess what? For me, parents are the owners of their children, right? And morals and values the foundation of morals and values start from home. You know, the boundaries that are set, children will explore. There is no how. Even if you have if in fact if you have a child that does not explore, you know, you should question the child. We're all young, you know. But the thing is, there will be boundaries, right? There will be boundaries, and then we'll play within the boundaries. We could step out the boundaries once, you know, in a while, but you will weigh the gravity and the consequences of such boundaries. Parents own these children. They go to school and they come back home. They are still yours. So we should not delegate our duty. We should set the foundation so that any other thing anybody wants to do is like additional, right, to
Whatever
training.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, so when is the right time to actually talk to your kids about sex? Or, at what age, when?
As early as possible, as early as they are beginning to, you know, comprehend and understand you're communicating, right? So I would say as early as 1 or 2. Yes.
1 or 2?
Yes. Yes.
How do
yes.
you talk to a 1-year-old about sex?
Okay, so you try to make them understand the parts of their body. So let them learn, oh, your eyes, you can sing to them, oh, your eyes, you know, like that. Start by teaching them the parts of their bodies. And we have also learned that, because even in this journey, I'm also learning. Do you understand? We have also learned that don't use
pet names or
pet
nicknames.
names. Yes, call the names, you know, as they are, you know. So 1 or 2. Now, they may not be able to talk back to you, but at least by the time somebody is doing something to them, the children, when they start talking at about 2, you know, or 2.5 and 3, they can mention the names and there is no ambiguity in the whole matter, right? So as young as that age, and then, you know, as they grow older, you start exposing them to more things. As they grow older, you know, there's age appropriateness. So, you know, maybe but by the time they are 10 and 11, they should know everything about sexuality. You know, sexuality.
Everything?
Yes, everything. They're already in school. By the time they're 10, 11, they're already doing integrated science, biology.
Yeah.
Yeah, in secondary school. So spell it out and then let them understand the consequences, you know, of, you know, some certain actions that they will take. Right? And let them also understand their bodies as well. So that by the time they start having some form of feelings or growing in some parts and they're like, what is this? Or a lady, for instance, starts her menses. You won't believe that some girls, when they start their menses, they are shocked. They don't know. They'll be screaming, blood, 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 blood. And they have mothers. Do you understand? So parents should not even fathers can sit down their daughters and talk to them. Mothers can sit, you know, their sons down and talk to them. I'm
smiling because that kind of happened to me when I started my period. I was younger. I think I started before my older sister. So I thought I was dying. And I remember sitting there and I'm just like, it's been 2 days. Oh my gosh. And I remember sitting at the balcony and I was saying goodbye to the house because I was like, I've got to be dying. What's going on? And then I eventually told my sister. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to. And I eventually told my sister and she's like, oh, this is what's going on. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not dying. Fantastic. So let's talk about childhood trauma and how that manifests in adulthood. We had fan mail last week, and there was a particular one about this young man who I think he was 32, but when he was much younger, he was basically sexually assaulted by his neighbor?
Yes.
Yeah, and this sort of triggered something in him, and he said that he basically is obsessed with her. She's gone on to get married. I think she was about 10 years.
Yeah, she was in her 20s and he was 12 years old.
Yeah,
thereabouts.
so that is something that's very, very scary that happened to him. Obviously it wasn't dealt with. I don't know if I don't think he actually told his parents about it, But he's 32 now, many, many years later, he's got some kind of an infatuation with her. And he's obviously not been able to handle relationships well, because he said literally he just keeps thinking of her. She's married, she's, got children now, she's moved on. But what she did, obviously
Lingers.
is still manifesting in his life.
Well, unfortunately, mental health or our industry is beginning to grow. Now we are beginning to find out that a lot of adults, right, are damaged, for lack of words. We always use that word so that we know the gravity of it, right? Because of what happened to them, when they were young, traumatic. They're conditioned in a certain way, and 3 things usually conditioned human beings: their upbringing, their environment, and the significant emotional experience, especially trauma, right, that you mentioned. So when they grow up, now some may start manifesting, when they're young. So you can see it. Maybe a girl start running away from a certain adult, or from, I remember, I think I had a little experience in hospital one time, and my mom told me that anytime I see someone in white, because doctors used to wear overall, I will run away, even if it's an agbada, as long as it's white, or a white shirt or something, I'll run. So children can manifest when they're young, and you can see it, explain to the child, oh no, this is not a doctor, But some people will internalize and then start manifesting when they are older, right? And it comes in different ways. I met a lady about 2 weeks ago. She was abused by about 4 or 5 men when she was a lot younger. Then she didn't manifest anything. It's now that she's older.
Yeah.
She really can't move on. She can't have a good relationship, and all sorts. There's different ways people can manifest.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have people that have become sex addicts?
Oh yeah,
overly
yeah,
sexualized.
Yeah,
everything is-
different. So you can either run away from sex or become sex addicts. So there are different ways people, can manifest. But definitely, it actually affects people, and that's why we're beginning to create the awareness that when you have children, when you parents need to be very close to their children, build relationships, especially now in these times. So that when you start seeing a child withdrawn, start treating the issues immediately. Take them for therapy, so that when they become adults, because you might think that the child is okay, and then they start manifesting. It's not just that child's problem. It's also your problem, because when they start having problems at home, it becomes you, the grandma or the mother of the either groom or bride, and all that. So
how do you gain the trust of your child, for instance, if you're a parent? How?
It's, they said another word for parenting now is relationships.
Okay.
Relationships. And there's no one that, how will I say it? There's no one that doesn't want to be loved, right? So you need to be able to understand your child. There's something we call love languages, right? So you need to be able to show your child love the way he understands that love, and build relationship. Because, we always say in our industry that rules without relationship will lead to rebellion. So you see a child, you've already told the child, oh, don't do this or do this and all that, and the child is rebelling. It's because it's like an instruction, it's like a command. Do you understand? They don't feel you. They're not feeling you the way they should feel you, right? Meanwhile, somebody else outside has taken time to understand this, your child, and giving them the attention they require the way they know it. Right? So you need to be able to understand. Unfortunately, we don't have that time to understand, to pay attention, to be available. and to understand our children. That's what usually causes crisis.
I think our generation needs to learn. Our parents, I guess, God bless them, did the best that they could.
Yeah.
And they also inherited this idea that children are to be seen and not
Not
heard.
heard.
A lot of times parents were really strict. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I was told about sex. Look, if you have sex, you're going to get pregnant, and you cannot have an abortion, and you're too young to have a child, and you're going to die. Okay, you're gonna go to hellfire. It was more of a fear thing as opposed to let me give you information. You understand? So, and it kept ringing in my head, and I was told over and over, if you get pregnant, the boy is going to leave you and you're going to be alone, and I will not raise any child with you. So just know what you're doing. So it was really that was it.
It's like our parents' book.
Yeah, so it was
Mine
a lot
was-
of instilling of fear.
Mine was, if you get pregnant when you're young, your life is over.
Yeah.
Your life is ruined.
Yeah,
Everything.
so stuff like that. And I think, so I kind of just, every time was just instructions. So I just kind of kept to myself, and then of course went to boarding school. From boarding school went to uni, and came back, and all of a sudden my mom is asking me, so who's your boyfriend? And I'm just like,
Do I have permission now?
why? Oh, so now you want to talk?
Yeah.
No. I was
Yeah.
like, why are you asking me all these questions? Like, we never used to talk like this now. So why do you want to be my friend all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So it was a getting to know each other all over again process. And I think that, parents should just, like you said, form relationships with your child, not necessarily based on fear. Let it be a relationship where your parents, your child knows, I can come to you about anything. There were some things I dare not tell my mother because I know that my own is finished when I was growing up or whatever. But I think to find a way where you kind of establish that relationship with your child, and also let them know that you're there for them. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna discipline them.
It doesn't mean like you're their best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically. Yeah. I was gonna say, so with everything that Gbemi said, I think as a mom of two boys, I mean, one of
I have two boys too.
so one of the things that I'm worried about is getting a good balance for that relationship, because nowadays the access to information is scary. So, I've heard stories about, parents that, try to maintain good relationships with their kids. They try and say, okay, stay away from this, stay away from that. And then they go to school and somebody's shoving porn in their face and they're like 10 or 11. And I'm like, how do you navigate that? Because I don't want to have a relationship with them based on, fear. I don't want it to be like, oh no, mommy said don't do this. I want them to be able to know that mommy is going to be behind me 110%, but that doesn't mean she's going to, indulge me doing rubbish, basically. So how do you get that balance?
Well, so you have to let them know. You have to let them know that you're their friend. You have to let them know that
but I will still whoop you.
oh yeah, definitely.
I was going to ask you about beating,
yeah,
but
so
then...
you have to let them know that I'm your friend, so, but it's not just by saying, they have to see it. They have to see that truly mommy or daddy is their friend. And then it's advisable you back and bite. What I mean by that is you lay down the rules and the consequences, and you must follow through. Children are not afraid of consequences. The fear of parents is that, if I cane the child, oh, well, okay, let me not use cane, because you said you were going to ask me a question about caning. If I discipline the child may run away from me or may not like it. The children want to be disciplined. They will test you. You can't imagine what my son did to me one day. He did something, and I think we had talked about it, and he knew I didn't like it. But that day, I just wasn't in the mood to, say anything. And he kept looking at me and said, Mommy, you didn't say anything. I said, oh, you expected me to say something, right? He said, yes, I expected you to talk. I said, so you too, why did you do it when you knew it was wrong? Right? So they know, and they keep testing. You allow them, they test more. You allow them, they test more. So the parents are usually afraid. It's not the children that don't want to be disciplined. But the thing is that when you discipline, you set the rules, the consequences, and when you discipline, let them understand why.
That's what I tried to do.
Do you understand? Let them understand why. And I tell you that they would love you the more. Yeah. But like I said, show them love. Don't say it, I love you. Let them see it, that you really love them. And let them know that, see, when you are in trouble, come back home to tell me. I'm ready to receive you.
I just had a flashback to when I was...
No, seriously.
I was 19. I was in my final year of uni. And it was like 2 weeks to graduation, and I crashed my car. It took me like a week plus to call home and tell. I didn't know, and note also, we're in a different country. It's not so she could reach through the phone and beat me or anything, but it took it like a whole week because I didn't even have the courage to even say.
Yeah.
So this happened. I was just shaking. Like I was just, now that I think about it, why? But I was just so worried about, what my mom was going to say. No, my dad, my mom was the more expressive one. Now let's talk about disciplining your child. In most Black households or African households, Nigerian households, children get punished with beating, whether it is just a gentle tap or a slap or a bara or whatever, or actually it goes as far as getting koboko or buying cane in traffic. At what point? They used to tell us now that there was cane that had like 3 mouths and stuff and all that.
Or six.
Or whatever. So what are your thoughts on caning or basically physical ways of discipline?
Okay, so it's been found out, right, that when you discipline a child, right, with a cane, usually it's transferred aggression, it's transferred anger, usually. And then the after effect is the after effect that the researchers or the experts are more concerned about. The children lose their self-esteem. They lose themselves in the process. Because, we talked about disciplining a child. Even if it's taking something away from them, they need to understand why. The reason why they have discouraged beating, first I told you, transferred aggression, is not really what that child did. You find that they are angry, somebody hit your car, there's traffic on the road, blah, blah, blah. That's anger. That aggression is what, is transferred on the child. And then when you finish beating, go to your room. The child is sobbing. You don't explain why you have beaten the child to that extent, and all that. So by the time you weigh the beating to what the child did, and then at the end of the day, you don't want to say the child, you've told the child to go to the room, to go and sit down, to go and cry. Don't play. Nobody should play with you, blah, blah, And that is why they have discouraged, beating. Because of the consequences, the self-esteem, people lose their self and all that.
But I think if you're a parent who has decided I'm going to find other ways to discipline my child, without beating, but then you send your child to a school where they flog them. What are we doing? Because I attended 2 secondary schools. First one was a military school. Flogging was regular. Yes. You come late, they flog you. You don't pay your school fees on time, they flog you, which was also stupid because I'm not the person paying my... Do you understand? Why are you disciplining the child?
Why are you embarrassing my whole family?
Exactly. Or, you were found in a corner with a boy after lights out or something. Of course, they will flog you in front of everybody. They'll tell you to lie down on the stage and they flog you.
Because you didn't pay your school fees. That's
and everything.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Or even coming late. A lot of times the kids were brought by their parents. So... Then it moved me to QC where in my set, around, I don't know what they're doing now, but around that time I didn't see one cane in the 3 years that I was there, and they behaved themselves. Now, if you don't behave yourself, you are either going to get expelled or suspended. Yeah. And so the fear of that alone, but there was not one cane, not one.
Yeah.
So, but then I went abroad for uni, came back one day and decided to attend inter-house sports. And I saw canes and I was scandalized, my school? Cane?
QC?
Yes.
Really?
What is this?
I have said, my kids are still very young, but any teacher that lays a hand on my child,
you might want to check the schools you send them to make sure they don't flog.
No. That's going to be it. But if there's a slip anywhere, for me, I feel like that's my responsibility. You tell me first. You don't just, now I spank my children, but not I don't beat. There's no canes. There's nothing. I have a stick that I'm mommy stick. And they think it's a joke. So this shows you how, so when I'm like, bring on me stick, they're like, mommy stick. And I'm just like, this is not the, my youngest is almost 2 and I've got one that's like almost 4. Yeah. So, but what I do is if I do have to spank them, it's not really like, I don't believe in leaving marks. I don't believe any of that, but I will say to them, look, you were naughty. You did this. I told you not to do it. So that's why you got spanked. I love you, blah, 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 hug it out, whatever. So there is a kind of, I don't kind of shun them, like go into the corner or, after I've disciplined them.
I don't understand. We turned out fine.
Are you fine? Yeah.
I don't think we turned out fine. But we did not turn out fine. Do you see how people behave on the roads? We didn't turn out fine.
Yeah.
You think you turned out fine. You think we turned out fine. Look at the way Nigerians behave in general.
On the average. So that's you. 1 in, how many are we?
You didn't turn out fine.
Then apart from that, sometimes self-esteem. Yeah. Some people cannot. They don't have as much confidence as they should have.
This one has too much confidence. That's not
so they don't have as much confidence as they. Now you are 1 in, from beating.
I think there's different things from anger management issues to all sorts of things.
I think there's beating, and this is my opinion. I think there's beating and I think there's spanking. Like beating is literally getting the cane, getting this and everything. Spanking is like, don't do that, don't do this and everything. And everybody knows. When you have toddlers hate it when you try and stop them from killing themselves. So you have to sometimes don't do that. No, don't do that. So that's what I mean. I don't believe in leaving marks on your child.
How some parents will strip a child naked, flog the child,
that is abuse.
I'm like,
that is abuse. I don't believe in.
You can't be spanking them anymore at 8, 9, 10.
No, you find, but then like she said, but then like she said, no. But listen, like she said, that is why it's important to have a relationship with your child, because if you're one of those parents and all you know how to do is you did this, you did this, after a while, you have children, that get used to that. Like I'm sure when you were in the military school, I went to Adro actually, which is in VI, and there's some people that they will get caned and they're just like this. Of course, they're just like that, and they soldier it, so it doesn't mean anything to them.
It became a thing of I can chest.
You understand? It doesn't. It gets to a point where it doesn't mean anything. So I think if you have a child that you're beating and in your mind this is discipline, and after a while the child gets used to that, that's a big problem.
There are even some things that are even more painful than the cane.
That's what I would say. If you have a good relationship with your child, take their phone away.
Another thing I was going to say is now. Excuse me. Another thing I was going to
take your phone.
You're taking their life.
Actually, what should I do? Pour acid on the child?
Take the phone and then beat the life out of the
This is why you're doing it. Now, another thing I was going to mention is also when speaking to your child. When disciplining your child, I think you should watch what you say. To call your child an idiot, you are stupid, you are dumb, you are useless. Those are abuse.
I don't know.
No. Wait. There are ways of that.
Calling a child useless is fine.
Please continue.
No, see, there are ways that you can.
I want you to
sorry, wait.
Take their phone away.
This happened. This happened in this Blood Sisters.
Yeah.
And we saw how that affected that.
That was horrible. That was horrible. You're useless.
I'm telling you. That film had a lot.
It had so many lessons.
Yeah. Yes. Mental health issues.
Yeah.
Parenting. It was. In fact, that film is
you shouldn't be saying that to your child, even to your partner, but leave that one aside.
Yeah.
But this is your child. You cannot say. There are ways to express your displeasure without saying that that the child is calling names and stuff like that.
She made a very solid point about that transferred aggression thing. Even if you're using words, it's mostly that you're transferring all the stress.
Sometimes it is a lot of transferred aggression. It's a lot of transferred aggression.
Never spanked, but to this day, let me tell you, I'm sorry if you're Catholic and you're watching this. I have disdain for Reverend Sisters because the one time in my life I looked at myself and I felt like there might be something wrong with me. A Reverend Sister looked at me and she was like, "You have no sense. Do you think at all? What's in your brain?"
Whoa.
And there was like 100 girls standing on the floor, and this was coming from when a principal in the morning Sister Rita, amazing woman, will stand and tell us things like, "You're amazing. You're an awesome woman." And I know a lot of great girls that went to that school, but trust me, they didn't smack us. But the things they used to say, people used to crack jokes that, it's from them not having sex. I mean, like, now you're thinking about it, you're like, okay, makes sense, I'm an adult, but it's only when you hate kids.
So Zaina, if you'd been caned, which would have been worse?
Either ways, but I think it was just the way she said. No, she told me that for I was in distinction class.
That verbal follows you for life.
I was in distinction class. I was doing 16 courses, and out of 16 courses, were only 3 girls in distinction class. So this is high flyer, and I didn't pass your bloody course. And in front of the entire class, you're like, "What's in your brain? How did you do all the other courses? Do you have any sense?" I remember her name to this day.
People have died from verbal abuse. I'm telling you. You just you know, people have died from verbal abuse. It's so silent, but however, it's more dangerous. People are, unless somebody is confident and self-aware and has a high self-esteem.
Even if you are confident.
But many people do not have high self-esteem. And then they just lose themselves. They don't understand themselves anymore. It's really, really dangerous, even for children, for adults, everyone.
I think just to wrap up. Oh, sorry, I was going to quickly say something. Now that we're talking about the things that affected us, like when we were kids and everything, I think one of the things that I always remember, and this is what I've made a conscious decision not to do, is when you've maybe done something wrong, or you've done something that your parents aren't happy with, or like an older authority figure. I always used to hate it when they would like tell me off badly in front of everyone. That was I remember, as you were talking about, as Zaina's talking about Reverend Sister, I remember this is when I was in school here, and I can't remember what I did. And I remember this mathematics teacher, and again, I remember her name. And I don't know what I did. I can't remember exactly what I did. But as I was trying to explain, she just backhanded me in front of the whole class. Mrs. Mafido, I was like, and it was bad enough that, I got the backhand. But then the fact that it was in the middle of,
and everybody was like,
and that, so there were 2 levels. There was level of, ow, that bloody hurt, bitch. Yeah. And then there was another level of everybody in class looking at you and everything. So I think parents don't think about this. And it might not even just be.
And if you're a parent that goes to open day and decides to woz your child in front of everybody, or insult your child in front of everybody, no matter what the child has done, you can take your child aside and give them a talking to, but come on.
Even in front of their siblings as well. So literally having a situation where a parent or an older figure is telling you in front of your siblings, "Oh, you're stupid, you're daft." I think those words are very, very damaging. Very, very damaging. Okay,
how do you protect your children in this social media age? So lots of kids want a phone. Oh, you can't just give them any rubbish phone that has just snake on it now.
Why? Why not? My kids have phones.
They want social media.
They can't down nothing.
What do you advise parents to do?
Well, is to educate them and prepare them. Parents should try or strive to be the people to mention something first to their children before any other person, or before they see themselves. So prepare them.
I see.
Oh, you're going to see this. It's likely you see this. Oh, you're going to meet this kind of people. You're going to meet this you're going to meet this kind of friends. You're going to, see this kind of children in your class. Not everybody will be like you. When you start saying, certain things, or when you start, so you have to let them know that this world, then, of course, we have to be a step ahead. Try to know what's happening so that you mention to them that law of first mention. You mention to them, you might likely, I'm already telling my children, these are the certain people, when you see people that are bullying, or somebody bringing phone, you see naked, bodies on the phone, and stuff like that. I knew, that Christian thing happened during the holiday. I knew when he was going to back to school, he was going to talk about it, but I didn't know to what extent. I didn't even know whether a student will have a phone that will bring it, but I had already prepared them. You might get to school, they might discuss it. some your friends may have phones. I don't know. It's not allowed, but somebody may, students will always be students, so you might see someone showing you something naked, or sometimes when they are even on my phone, they use my phone. They always struggle for my phone, and something pops. Oh, mommy, see, that kind of. So you prepare them, not the one that will see and just keep it and go and hide in the room and start watching it privately. So you need to educate them and prepare them ahead for what they're likely to meet or who they're likely to meet.
My last question is this. So you've said that it's important to, prepare them. And how important is it to be honest? Because Gbemi said this, and I also mentioned the whole, when it came to sex now, and how like for Gbemi, they pretty much said if you get pregnant, for me, they said that your life will be over. And I remember, I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I do remember my mom taking a saucer, and this was so funny to me because she didn't have bless my mom, bless my parents, they didn't really have those conversations with us. But then I think it's because of how they grew up, because I don't think my grandma ever had a conversation with my mom about, okay, you fall in love and it was just like, yeah, go and get married and that's it. So I remember when my mom was trying to tell me about drinking and smoking, and she took a saucer and she poured some schnapps on the saucer and she lit it up and she said, if you smoke and drink, this is your lungs. This is your lungs. And I'm just here like, really? Not knowing that my dad's bar, me and my sister had been leveling everything without add water. So I mean, for me, I was looking at her like, okay, fine. I know you're trying to tell me not to smoke or drink, but come on, that's ridiculous. So is it also important to be honest, to kind of say, okay, look, if you have sex, you could possibly get pregnant if you don't use protection. You could, or do you just stick to the whole, your life is over. That's it, everything.
No, it's better to be honest, because when they find out the truth, they will not trust you.
They won't trust you.
And they won't trust you anymore.
Yeah.
So just lay it.
Yeah, it's so interesting how, like, our parents never really got to know us.
At times are different. At times you need to appreciate. Well, I don't know how old you are, but I want to believe that times are really different. Then information was not at our fingertips.
Yes.
Or was beginning. Like I said, I don't know how old you are. You understand, but then. So information was beginning to be at our finger. Right now is in our faces.
Yes.
So we can't
ignore.
And we can't ignore.
It's
and
scary.
if you do, they would. Everybody needs attention. It's who is going to give that attention that matters. If you don't give it, trust me, somebody else
will give that
is
attention.
Giving your child that
someone
attention.
With not good intentions.
Exactly.
Can I just homeschool them?
They still have to come out to the world.
Unfortunately, they have to go out.
Okay.
They have to go out, and I'm having a program on the 25th. It's called "Am I Parenting Right?" And we're going to talk about when issues happen like that Chrisland issue. Everybody was about parenting. It was so easy. I'm sure the only one or two people that did not say bad parenting were the parents of the victim or the child at that time. But we don't look inwards to see what are we doing? What are we not doing right? As parents. And then when tests happen, like that girl was tested, the parents got their feedback. Do you understand? It was like a report card to them. It was a report card. It was a feedback session to them to say, hey, you may have taught this child. We are not saying you haven't taught, but to have gone to this extent, I don't know. I don't know really. So parents need to do better to be able to understand that there will be a time where our children will be tested. They will not always be under our roofs. So they will be tested either at home or outside. Will they pass that test? What will be our feedback? So what will be our feedback at that time? We will not be there. But God forbid it will get to the extent of the whole world now getting
about their mistake. Yes, oh gosh, it's just
our report card. So
I feel so bad for the girl. Thank you so much.
But she has to go through therapy.
Oh yeah,
she has all of them. Her parents, her.
I think everybody needs therapy.
No,
every adult needs therapy.
I've said it before. Every
living in this Lagos,
every Nigerian
Yeah,
Every
needs
Nigerian
therapy.
needs therapy. Aziz might go to therapy and make the therapist cry. So, we need a strong spiritual therapist that can deal with you. But thank you so much for stopping by. This has been quite enlightening. How can people reach you? Your social media handle?
Well, I'm on Instagram at trustedsupport_counseling.
Okay. So you can reach out to her if you want to contact her.
Yeah, if you have any questions.
And they can find more details about the event you're having on the 25th.
Yes. Going to post that soon. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
This was good. Thank you very much to our guest for stopping by. We definitely learned a lot. Make sure you check out her social media page to find out more about how to parent in these modern times.
Yes, well,
I think
scary. On that note, we shall bid you farewell. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic, fantastic week.
Hi, I'm Gbemi.
Hi, I'm Toolz. If you absolutely love that episode,
make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's just right there. You're not going to die, we promise. Just click right there. Just click.
Press the button.
Thank you. And subscribe.
Press
Tell
it.
your family and friends
Press
too.
the button.
Thank you.
Bye.